Adam was given power to name things, animals, all that good stuff. God gave him the power to call things as he see it. Was this part of free will? Did God know that Adam was going to name a lion, an eagle, Does it even matter? And also, it goes to what I feel is important is that we learn to talk and speak and use our mouths before we can learn how to read. So I'm really big on talking, speaking in the moment. Not so much focusing on what was read, even though that is beneficial also. But he spoke those things. He didn't write them out. He spoke it. Speaking is powerful. Words are powerful. They can be powerful. Or do we give them power? Are words empty of themselves or neutral? And do we give them power, good, bad, all that good stuff? I don't know. Just a thought. My initial thoughts and questions about this passage is, why did she help him? I'm talking about Rebecca. Why would she betray her husband like that? Maybe because she knew Esau wasn't being honest about the blessing. Maybe Esau should have at least explained why he doesn't have the birthright anymore, even if the father doesn't agree with it. He took his blessing in an honest way. Or did he? His mother had his back. I also take from this is that if you're going to lie without hurting people physically or someone potentially dying from it. No one goes to jail. That type of lying. A white lie. It's still a lie, but there's levels to it. Another question I had is, was that really stealing? Whose blessing was it anyway? Who is the rightful heir? Put yourself in his shoes. You made a deal and you reneged. Something so important. Would you react to that? And why didn't he accept the gifts? Esau became rich. Did money change him? Did it make him better? I don't know. So this part of the story, it seems like starting at verse 21, Isaac didn't fully trust this. Something felt wrong to him, but he couldn't prove it. And then starting at verse 24, even after he blessed him, he still questioned it. Why? The choice has been made already. You blessed him, and now you're second guessing it. Why not be more patient and take your time with it? Because some things you can't take back, it seems. And then in verse 29, his father it seemed like he was pretty smart. He knew if he cursed him, he would be cursed. And I'm referring to cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be those who bless you. So it's almost like we do it to ourselves type of thing. Like, don't be a hater, basically. When you hate on somebody, you're hating on yourself. When you love on somebody, you're loving yourself. This is my assumption about this. At verse 36, I wrote down, granted, there may have been lies, but why are you mad about the choice you made? He didn't force you to sell the birthright. You chose to do that. Now, I'm looking back on this note, and I have no idea why I wrote that. But I'm sure I wrote it for a reason. I'm just not sure what that reason is at the moment. Now, I could go back and reread the whole thing, but that's not going to be part of this project. I am making this with notes I've made last year or a couple of years ago. So then when I read the whole story over again, I can compare this to my new perspective on the story. So it's in there for a reason. And at verse 40, I wrote down the following notes. To not hold grudges with people. He would have gotten blessed quicker without being so pissed off, being angry and bitter, and trying to kill him. Maybe learn to let go of one thing at a time, one piece of the major problem, but with baby steps. Chipping away, and you can get rid of the problem. A jackhammer doesn't dismantle the concrete in one blow. It's multiple blows. Chip away at it. And he also lived by his own sword, his own words, and his own feelings. I'm guessing that's what I meant. And become restless, and the yoke will be broken. Not sure what I meant by that, but I wrote it down for a reason. But yeah, don't hold grudges. Easier said than done. Sometimes you have 10 bad things going on at once, and you want everything to be done all at once. And that may or may not happen, but if you focus on one little problem at a time, you knock one out, knock another one out, knock another one out. You knocked 3 problems out so far. Now you only got 7 left. I'd rather deal with 7 than 10. I'd rather deal with 5 than 10. I'd rather deal with 1 than 10. So some things just requires patience, and when you knock something out. When you're over something, or at least something will be thrown your way to test or see if you're going to react in the new perspective, or are you going to keep reacting in the old perspective. And at verse 44, the following notes: she thought that this could be solved in a couple of days. Did she underestimate how pissed off he was? Another note I took from this is to stop speaking for other people. You don't know what depth anyone feels about a particular thing or situation, especially if you can relate to it in some way. So I need to be mindful of telling people how they should and should not feel. I feel like this is a reminder for me to shut up, basically, pertaining to other people's situations. And I just scrolled back up and I see why I said what I said earlier, because Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. So that was I don't know why I said that, but that was my initial thought. Was like, well, shit, you sold that. Nobody forced you to do that. You sold your birthright, and that was on you. Let's take some accountability here, pal. And for this passage, I have this note. In the dream, what if the land is your mind? The angels of God are up and down. Those are your thoughts. How you feel about yourself. Do you look at yourself in a good way, bad way, all that good stuff? That's all. Just a question. And in this part of the story, my question is, was this considered cheating? He's a married man and had children out of wedlock. But everything seems to be all good with this. So what's up with that? Cheating, yeah. The wife was like, hey, I can't have kids. We're not going to adopt. I'm not sure if adoption was a thing back then. But, hey, just knock her up so we can have kids. And everybody was cool. It's something to think about. I don't know. Starting at verse 24, I have the following notes. I question, was he dreaming? Was it real? I'm going to assume it was a dream. And in his dream, if he wrestled with God in his sleep and wasn't afraid of that, why would you be afraid of your brother? You wrestle with something supernatural, and it didn't scare you one lick. But you're scared of a man. It's something I thought about. And also it seemed that the voice of God was telling him that he got his back. And to just keep listening to what I'm telling you. It'll be okay. Keep sending the gifts. Maybe it'll soften him up. It'll work. Just trust me on this. Listen to me. Listen to that intuition, the gut feeling. But I guess the problem can arise with people, or I keep it to myself, is that sometimes we don't trust that intuition. Sometimes I don't trust it. But I've learned to trust it more. Maybe I was talked out of my intuition. I knew things as a child or even as an adult, and you let someone talk you out of it. So it's something I'm very mindful of now.